There is no worse programming than Apple TV Plus. If you've watched anything on there, it's just a matter of like how many minutes before you get into the LGBTQ propaganda. Obviously, that's what Tim Cook, a gay man himself, is funding at Apple because they want to just indoctrinate everybody. It's been the same course across Hollywood history, but this is frankly the worst. Beyond Netflix, beyond Disney Plus, believe it or not, this one is so much worse. Like you can't get through any show at all. Now, they were putting a show on called Savant, which was going to be all about hunting down these right-wing extremists. Yes, that was going to be a great topic right now. And now Apple TV Plus has removed the show because it clearly was going to have ties to Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA, and it was going to be very, very obviously disrespectful towards him. They know they can't run that, especially after all that's happened and after all the crap that Hollywood's been spewing with their hate and lies about the situation and about Charlie Kirk in the wake of his death. But one of the actors is actually going off and saying that she doesn't agree with the decision to remove it. Of course not. As we talk about this here, very crazy stuff, and crazy that anybody would be like, oh yeah, we should probably air this right now in the wake of this. Nuts. And this is something that these people are nuts. They do hate you. They are continuing with this. Remember, they all control the industry. Nobody's been fired. Jimmy Kimmel is still there, of course, with Gavin Newsom spreading lies and hate out there on his Tonight Show. All of these people are doing the exact same thing, and nothing's changed. Don't buy into the sort of narratives that there's this like right-wing pendulum swing that went too far. The right controls nothing. Everybody in the right's blacklisted from entertainment still, and we are here to actually call it out and make these just declarations and try to enact change. That's why we're here. So thank you guys for being here. Thanks for being a part of this very real movement as we do try to change things. My name's John Delarose. I am a science fiction and fantasy writer, and of course blacklisted from publishing and the like. I would like you to sign up for my newsletter because you never know if YouTube's going to let me find you anymore. And so I give you 3 free books for doing so. This is in the description below. If you like my thoughts on writing and the like, if you want to start a new culture, this is a great place to be. And also you'll be able to stay in touch with me if something ever happens here, or it's, hey, you might not ever find my channel again, right? This is the way that YouTube works these days. It's a big thing. I did a video and I explained the problems with the system yesterday. Go watch that if you have not already. But newsletter is super important. I've got a bookstore in the description below if you want to support, and I really appreciate you guys as we do the real work to try to actually rebuild this culture here. All right. So yes, Apple is it, and of course the mainstream media is already out. They're making a huge mistake postponing the Savant in the wake of the Charlie Kirk killing. How do you figure, Elizabeth Fisher? Let's get into this. In a shocking decision, Apple TV has postponed the premiere because it's another chilling example of how business giants are scared of the Trump administration. I don't think it's that. I think it's that this is obviously a horrific thing that was going to target Charlie Kirk within the show, and it's going to be a really, really bad look. It'd be like making a show about like just how evil Martin Luther King Jr. is right after he was assassinated. That would have been a very stupid thing for a network to do, and they would have never allowed it, of course. But of course, with these people, they want to ignore it, and they want to pretend like there's some free speech sort of thing going on, even though, again, all of these executives, Tim Cook and all these people, they're all leftist activists, and we know this. It's crazy to think otherwise, and that's where we're at. After careful consideration, they said, we made the decision to postpone the Savant. An Apple TV spokesperson said, we appreciate your understanding. Look forward to releasing the series at a future date. And so this is it as they go through here. And the Savant follows Jody Goodwin, a top-secret investigator who has an employee of a fictional anti-hate alliance. Yes, this is like Antifa, right? Infiltrating online hate groups in an effort to stop large-scale attacks of domestic terrorism. So they were going to paint Turning Point USA and the like, and it was going to look very much like that as terrorists, right? Now, the real truth is the left wing are terrorists across the board. We've seen the horrific thing in Dallas today, an anti-ICE shooter as usual, and we saw the Catholic school got shot up by a transgender just a couple of weeks prior to Charlie Kirk. All this stuff has a pattern right now, and it's complete left-wing terrorism all of the time. These people are sick, and of course, they love to project this stuff because this is what they do. They want to, of course, indoctrinate more of them into thinking that, of course, these are these right-wing terrorist groups so that more people will do this kind of stuff to Charlie Kirk. That's the intention of the show, right? These people are hateful. They're evil. This is what Hollywood stands for, and I got to keep saying this all the time. So having watched the 8-episode series for review, it's clear that The Savant is precisely the type of show America needs right now. This is the mainstream media. It looks at the sector of mostly white male individuals who believe America belongs to them. Fueled by hate, bigotry, xenophobia, and misogyny, they talk cruelly and candidly online about enacting harm and violence towards individuals or others they feel unworthy of being in their country. Look at this. This is absurd. These people are insane. Like I said, it's massive projection on their front, and they're crazy. And they really do want this propaganda out there. They actually want to incite more people. And Apple knows that this sort of thing would incite more people. Obviously today with like the messaging on the bullet casing, it was somewhat of a copycat guy off of the Charlie Kirk thing. They want more of this. That they are dreaming of a civil war. They literally have called you Nazis for years and said that Trump is literally Hitler. And remember, they always say punch a Nazi. They've been trying to incite violence. They believe that they're in their like weird fantasy worlds in their heads, that they're superheroes going out and doing superhero things and stopping the evil Red Skull tyrant, right? And because they've convinced themselves of these fantasies, that's why they're so dangerous. And this is dangerous sort of things to actually put out even further. So this is crazy. One woman trying to stop domestic terrorism. Well, unfortunately, Variety wants to encourage it, obviously. And it seems absolutely maddening Apple TV would pull such a move, especially following the disaster of ABC and Disney faced after yanking Jimmy Kimmel live. Yeah, right. And of course, Jimmy Kimmel is out there and he's gloating with Gavin Newsom. It's all fake. Jimmy Kimmel is an elite. He was never going to get removed from the society or whatever. The elites have different rules than we do, and that's been the main frustration of all of us out there. So Apple TV is making a good move here, but this is Jessica Chastain right here. And she says this, I want to say how much I value my partnership with Apple. She made a statement about this. They've been incredible collaborators, and I deeply respect their team. That said, I wanted to reach out to you and let you know we're not aligned on the decision to pause the release of the Savant. In the last 5 years since we've been working on the show, we've seen the unfortunate amount of violence in the United States. And then they talk about other things. January the 6th, assassination attempts on President Trump. But again, like January 6th wasn't real, right? The kidnapping attempt on Gretchen Whitmer was a weird situation, and that is a strange one right there. However, like all the main stuff that's really going on out there is left-wing violence, and this is an anti-right-wing show. So you want to talk about all these sort of things as if they're all equivalent. They're not, and then you want to make it and paint it on the white ring. It's not. The Savant is about the heroes who work every day to stop violence before it happens. She says, in honoring the courage it feels, I remain hopeful the show will reach audiences soon. Until then, I'm wishing safety and strength for everyone. I'll let you know when and if the Savant is released. And this is clearly something that is inciting violence against average Americans, against people like Trump. As much as she's adding it in there to try to say something, that's it. So this is a show that's now being stopped. You could see the entire messaging immediately, just with the woman with her black children. Like, it's so ridiculous as they go through here, and then she hunts out the evil white males who are look at this, it's MAGA country with their little American flag hats and camo. Yeah, we know what this is about. This is something where you are going to try to paint Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA as the terrorists, and that's not going to fly right now, and that's probably not going to fly anytime soon. So Apple TV did a good thing. You can see the media covering for it, and the showrunners and all that, saying that there's these terrible things are being stopped. Oh no, because they want to incite more of it. They have these fantasies as much as they're gaslighting people and actually saying otherwise, because they believe that the right is the problem, and if the right is this level of problem, they're going to continue to, of course, enact what they think is justice. And this kind of justice is absolutely sick and has no place in America. All right, please leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Please sign up for my newsletter. I'm blacklisted from all of this stuff. As much as they cry about free speech and this stuff, they're never going to make a show that's based on anything I make. Why? Well, we know exactly why. So they're liars, and of course, and we're trying to do things independently. It's an uphill battle, but I appreciate you guys being here and, of course, checking things out. It's in the description below. Thanks for being here. We'll be back soon.